Hello and welcome to Strategic Sourcing Inside. I am a professional with more than 25 years of experience in strategic sourcing and supply chain management. Today we shall be discussing 5 essential negotiation tactics that every manager should master to drive real value, cost saving, and supplier collaboration. In the first slide, you will see negotiation can yield up to 5 to 20% saving on major purchases. Yet 72% of the managers, they do not negotiate and they miss a significant opportunity for cost saving and optimize the expenditure. So here's our agenda. First, why negotiation is so critical in procurement. Then we will dive into 5 practical proven tactics you can use immediately. And we shall also look at best practices and real world case examples before wrapping up with key takeaways and questions. Why does negotiation matters in procurement? That's a big question. So because it's how we control our cost and reduce risk and get the best value for our organization. Good negotiation isn't just about price, it shapes quality, delivery, payment terms, and supplier relationship. It helps us to avoid surprises and build reliable partnerships. Effective negotiation is one of the most powerful ways procurement delivers the value. So here we will discuss about procurement isn't just a function, it's a strategic cost driver that can make or break profitability. Managing procurement effectively is one of the most powerful levers for controlling cost and boosting competitiveness. If you see here, one of many organizations right from automotive to services, they spend around 60 to 70% of their bought out and material cost. So this is very important for us to negotiate in depth with tactics, with strategy. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. And you negotiate best when you are prepared. Preparation is where most procurement negotiations are actually won or lost. We must know our spend data, understand the supplier's cost structure, and set a clear goal. A should cost model gives us leverage. It moves the conversation from price demand to cost drivers. We also have to anticipate supplier objections and plan our response in advance. Preparation builds our confidence and makes negotiation predictable, data-driven, and effective. If you can't break down, you can't bring it down. Understand cost driver is essential for credible negotiation. Rather than accepting lump sum, price break into clear cost blocks. You can ask, what is the material cost, labor cost, overhead, and logistics? Tools like should cost, zero-based costing helps us to see what the price should be. When you understand cost drivers, you can challenge suppliers' assumption and uncover hidden margins. Negotiation shift from haggling to collaboration and fact-based discussion. Negotiation success lies in converting goal into win-win outcomes. Collaboration is a structured process, not a luck. So we can work on common goal between us and supplier. Our goal is to cost saving, risk reduction, quality improvement. And the supplier's goal is profitability, fewer complaints, stable demand. So shared outcome would be process efficiency, higher customer satisfaction, long-term relationship. So this is where we can work out with supplier in collaboration, and that will help in win-win situation. The data lets us approve our target price. Is it arbitrary? It shifts negotiation from debate to problem solving. Supplier respect fact-based negotiations because it's transparent and credible. Without data, we are just guessing. With data, we negotiate from position of strength. Data-backed negotiations generally deliver credibility, transparency, and better result for both the sides. So from where you can derive the data is internal spend analysis, that is one part. Second is market price benchmark, cost breakdown, and if we will know whether supplier is overpricing, volume consolidation, alternative sourcing options, and then we will have negotiation leverage, that is data-backed pricing target, stronger counter arguments, and improved supplier accountability. If you don't know your limits, you will agree to theirs. Bad approach is supplier will say, fine, I'll give you 10% off to close this deal. So this is mainly reactive, and we will lose the margin. The good approach should be, we can offer faster payment term if you meet our targeted price. This is planned and balanced one. So message here is, planned trade keeps value balanced and negotiation under control. So generally concession and limits, we can define walk away limits before negotiation, pre-plan acceptable concessions, prioritize negotiation, goals must have versus nice to have, trade concession strategically, not reactively, align your internal team to avoid surprises. And there is one table depicted here which shows where we should compromise, where we should not compromise. I have shown some examples and best practices in negotiation, which says turn theory into action. One is preparation is power. A team which uses 3 months of spend analysis to identify top categories for negotiation. So here best practice is always review volumes, supplier history, and market trends before any meeting. Second is, we understand the cost drivers. An automotive buyer broke down supplier quotes into material, labor, and margin that revealed him that 12% extra margin hidden in overhead. So there is a good saving here if you break down or prepare properly. Use should cost model or supplier workshops to map the cost. So best practice on build supplier collaboration is, a pharma company co-developed packaging redesign with supplier, cutting 15% cost while improving sustainability. What they have done best practice is set shared goal and schedule regular joint cost reduction reviews, which has helped them to reduce the cost. Second is use data to drive the discussion. A retailer used market benchmarks to negotiate aligned pricing across regions, and they have saved millions of rupees. So what is the best practice? Is maintain up-to-date benchmark data and share transparently during negotiation. So in best practices, plan your concession and limits. A buyer offered faster payment term in exchange for price reduction, protecting cash flow while saving 8%. This is also a good best practice. And define your must-have and nice-to-have in advance. Trade intelligently. This is where what you should have and what you should discuss with supplier as per company policy. So here we will discuss about case study as per our tactics. So case study number 1 is preparation is power. Here context is a multinational FMCG company planned its annual supplier negotiation. What they did was conducted 6 weeks of spend analysis, segmented supplier by leverage potential, identified category for bundling, and what result they got was consolidated volume to 2 suppliers, achieved 9% overall cost reduction. So message is deep preparation created clear negotiation goal and leverage. So for case study number 2 for understand cost drivers is the context was an automotive part buyer faced a 12% price increase request. So what they did was broke down suppliers quote, material, labor, overhead and profit, compared commodity indices for raw material cost, and the result they got was proved the real input cost had only risen 3%, negotiated a price freeze with minor tooling surcharge. So this was the advantage of cost driver. So message is understanding cost drivers turn a 12% increase into near zero. So here we will discuss about case study number 3, build supplier collaboration. The context was pharmaceutical company wanted lower packaging cost, and what they did was ran a joint workshop with supplier engineers, simplified design, reduced the material. The result was 15% packaging cost reduction, improved sustainability with 20% less material waste. So message is collaboration unlocked shared saving, neither side saw alone. So case study number 4 regarding use data to drive the discussion. The context was retailer sourcing electronics accessories across regions. What they did was collected benchmark pricing from multiple market, built a supplier comparison dashboard. The result they found was exposed 18% price gap between the regions, negotiated harmonized pricing at lower tier level. So message is data-driven approach turned supplier conversation from argument to agreement. This is case study number 5 where plan your concession and limits. The context was an industrial buyer negotiated a large annual contract. What they did was mapped out non-negotiable versus tradable items, offered faster payment term for price reduction. The result was secured 7% price reduction, maintained critical quality and lead time terms. The message here is planning concession in advance avoids reactive giveaways. So let's wrap up with the key message of today's session. Negotiation isn't about being aggressive or beating supplier at all cost. It's about having a structured structured, thoughtful approach that creates real sustainable value. We covered 5 essential tactics that can transform the way we negotiate. First is preparation is power. 80% of negotiation success happens before you sit down. We must know our spend data, standard cost model, anticipate supplier moves, and define clear goals in advance. Second, understand the cost drivers. Instead of debating lump sum price, we break them down into raw material, labor, overhead, logistics, and profit. That gives us visibility and negotiation power. Third, build a supplier collaboration. This isn't about confrontation, it's about working with supplier to remove cost drivers and unlock efficiencies. We move from haggling to partnership. Fourth, use data to drive the discussion. Replace opinion with facts. Bring benchmarks, cost models, market data on the table. This builds credibility and turns negotiation into problem solving. Fifth, plan your concession and limits. We must know our walkaway points. Pre-plan what we are willing to trade. Concession should be strategic, not reactive. Ultimately, the goal is to move negotiation from improvisation to strategy, from one-time discount to long-term value. If you remember one thing today, remember this: you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. And great negotiation is planned, data-driven, and collaborative. Thank you. I would love to hear your questions, reflection, or thought on how you shall apply these tactics in your own negotiations. Thank you very much.